Transgender relationships are vibrant, diverse, and filled with the same joys, challenges, and complexities as any romantic partnership. Yet, they often navigate unique emotional landscapes shaped by gender identity, societal expectations, and personal histories. In 2025, understanding these nuances is more important than ever, especially as transgender visibility and acceptance continue to grow. But many misconceptions and struggles remain in the shadows. One of the most critical yet overlooked aspects in transgender relationships is the presence of hidden emotional triggers, those subtle, sometimes unconscious reactions or wounds that can unexpectedly spark tension or hurt between partners. These triggers are not just about the present moment, but often echo years of trauma, misunderstanding, or fear, both within and outside the relationship. Why focus on these hidden triggers? Because awareness is the first step toward empathy, communication, and healing. Recognizing these triggers helps couples create a safer, more authentic connection where both partners feel truly seen and supported. It prevents misunderstandings from escalating and deepens trust in a relationship that already asks its members to navigate external pressures and internal growth simultaneously. Transgender relationships are inherently complex, as they often involve navigating societal stigma, evolving identities, and the need for acceptance both internally and externally. Add to this the emotional labor required for healthy communication, and you have a dynamic that requires not only love, but emotional intelligence, patience, and commitment. This guide is designed to shed light on 5 hidden triggers that frequently impact transgender relationships. These aren't surface-level problems or easy fixes, but subtle emotional landmines that, when left unaddressed, can undermine even the strongest bonds. By exploring these triggers, you'll gain insight into the emotional realities many transgender couples face and practical wisdom to navigate them with care and compassion. Whether you are transgender yourself, a partner to someone who is, or simply looking to deepen your understanding, this guide will help you recognize patterns that might be sabotaging your connection, often without either partner realizing it. It's an invitation to move beyond assumptions and stereotypes and into a space of vulnerability and mutual growth. From internalized transphobia and identity validation struggles to fears around safety and societal rejection, these hidden triggers shape how love is experienced and expressed. They shape reactions to conflict, intimacy, and everyday communication. But most importantly, they can be addressed, healed, and transformed through awareness and intentional action. As we move through 2025, transgender relationships are not only about surviving a world that often misunderstands them, they are about thriving with authenticity and joy. Internalized transphobia and self-doubt. Internalized transphobia is a complex and deeply personal struggle that affects many transgender individuals. Unlike overt discrimination or external prejudice, internalized transphobia is the negative belief system about oneself that develops when societal stigma, misinformation, or rejection is absorbed and turned inward. This internal conflict often breeds intense self-doubt, undermining self-worth and complicating the journey towards self-acceptance. At its core, internalized transphobia is the harmful echo of society's bias reverberating within the mind of a transgender person. From a young age, many trans individuals witness messages that suggest their identities are wrong, unnatural, or even dangerous. These messages don't always come from strangers. Sometimes they come from family, friends, or institutions that are supposed to provide safety and love. Over time, repeated exposure to this negativity can cause a transgender person to question their own validity, leading to feelings of shame and isolation. Self-doubt fueled by internalized transphobia can manifest in many ways. Some may struggle to accept their gender identity fully, feeling that they are too much or not enough. Others may delay or avoid transition-related decisions out of fear of judgment or failure. This internal conflict often results in emotional distress, anxiety, and depression, making it harder to build a positive relationship with oneself. The impact of internalized transphobia extends beyond the individual and into their relationships. When self-worth is fragile, it affects how a person connects with partners, friends, and family. Trust becomes difficult because the internal critic whispers that they are undeserving of love or respect. This can cause withdrawal, communication breakdowns, or heightened sensitivity to perceived rejection. In romantic relationships, especially, self-doubt can create barriers to intimacy and vulnerability, leading to misunderstandings and emotional distance. However, acknowledging internalized transphobia is the first powerful step toward healing. It requires self-compassion and the recognition that these feelings are not a reflection of one's true worth, but a product of external prejudice. Therapy and support groups tailored for transgender individuals can be invaluable, providing a safe space to explore these feelings and develop healthier self-perceptions. Building affirming communities is equally important. Being surrounded by others who understand and celebrate transgender identities can help counteract the negative messages absorbed over a lifetime. Representation in media, positive role models, and supportive allies all contribute to fostering a sense of belonging and pride. Most importantly, internalized transphobia can be challenged through intentional self-acceptance practices. Validation of gender identity. Validation of gender identity is a cornerstone of emotional well-being for transgender and non-binary individuals. It goes far beyond simple acknowledgement. It is an essential act of recognizing and honoring a person's lived truth. In a world where many people's identities are questioned, misunderstood, or outright dismissed, validation provides the crucial foundation for self-confidence, mental health, and authentic connection. Gender identity is deeply personal and often invisible to the outside world. For transgender individuals, living authentically means expressing an identity that may differ from the sex they were assigned at birth. This expression can include names, pronouns, appearance, and behaviors that align with their true sense of self. When these expressions are respected and affirmed by others, it sends a powerful message: you are seen. You are valid. Lack of validation, on the other hand, can have devastating effects. When a transgender person's identity is questioned, denied, or ridiculed, whether by family, friends, coworkers, or even strangers, it creates emotional wounds that run deep. It can lead to feelings of isolation, rejection, and invisibility. In extreme cases, the denial of identity validation is linked to higher rates of depression, anxiety, and suicidal ideation within transgender communities. Validation isn't limited to grand gestures. It's often found in the small, everyday acts that communicate respect and acceptance. Using correct names and pronouns is one of the most straightforward yet profound ways to validate someone's identity. It shows attentiveness to who they truly are, even when it may challenge someone's previous understanding or comfort zones. Listening without judgment when someone shares their experience or journey is another vital form of validation. It acknowledges their truth without trying to fix, question, or dismiss it. Importantly, validation also requires ongoing commitment. A person's gender identity can be fluid or evolve over time, and being open to these changes is a crucial part of support. It means continuously asking and honoring how someone wishes to be recognized, and never assuming that gender is fixed or binary. In relationships, validation of gender identity can profoundly impact intimacy and trust. When a partner consistently affirms one's identity, it creates emotional safety, allowing both individuals to be vulnerable and authentic. Conversely, invalidation can erode trust and lead to emotional distance, even if the relationship is otherwise loving. For transgender people, feeling unseen or misgendered by someone they care about can reopen old wounds and trigger self-doubt or anxiety. Beyond personal relationships, societal validation matters. Representation in media, affirming healthcare policies, and inclusive workplaces all contribute to the larger ecosystem of validation. Fear of societal rejection and safety concerns. For many transgender individuals, fear of societal rejection and safety concerns are constant undercurrents shaping their daily experiences. Unlike fears rooted solely in personal relationships, These anxieties stem from broader social realities, prejudice, discrimination, and sometimes violence that can profoundly affect mental health, self-expression, and intimate connections. Societal rejection takes many forms. It may be the subtle glance of disapproval on the street, the refusal of legal documents to reflect one's true identity, or outright exclusion from jobs, healthcare, and public spaces. These experiences send a clear message: you do not belong. Over time, this erodes self-confidence and fosters a pervasive sense of otherness. The fear of rejection isn't simply about hurt feelings. It is about survival and the very real risks involved in being visibly transgender in an often hostile world. Safety concerns compound this fear. Transgender individuals face disproportionately high rates of harassment, assault, and hate crimes compared to the general population. This harsh reality makes everyday environments, public transportation, workplaces, even one's own neighborhood, potentially dangerous. The constant vigilance required to navigate these spaces can be exhausting and emotionally taxing. Within relationships, the fear of societal rejection manifests uniquely but powerfully. Many transgender people worry not just about their own safety, but about how their partners might be treated or judged for being with them. This can create anxiety about public displays of affection, attending social events, or even being outed unintentionally. Partners may avoid situations where discrimination could arise, limiting social opportunities and sometimes leading to isolation. Moreover, internalized fear of rejection can cause hesitation to fully disclose one's identity or experiences, even to loved ones. This withholding can create emotional distance and misunderstandings within relationships. The pressure to protect partners from stigma or to shield oneself from potential harm often leads to secrecy, which can erode trust and intimacy. Despite these challenges, many transgender people develop remarkable resilience. Creating safe spaces, whether physical or emotional, is essential. This might mean seeking out affirming friends, allies, or support groups where one can be fully authentic without fear. It also involves partners actively fostering trust by openly discussing fears and boundaries related to societal rejection and safety. On a societal level, progress is being made. Increasing visibility, legal protections, and advocacy have improved conditions for many transgender people. However, fear of rejection and safety concerns remain deeply rooted issues that require continued attention and action. Navigating medical and transition-related stress. The journey of gender transition is deeply personal and often life-affirming, but it can also bring a unique set of stresses, medical, emotional, and relational, that require careful navigation. Transition-related stress doesn't only stem from physical changes, but from the complex interplay of expectations, uncertainty, and societal pressures that accompany this transformative process. Medical transition may involve hormone therapy, surgeries, or other treatments that affirm a person's gender identity. While these steps are empowering, they also carry inherent challenges. Physical side effects, recovery periods, financial burdens, and navigating healthcare systems can all contribute to significant stress. For many transgender individuals, accessing competent and affirming medical care is not straightforward. Obstacles such as discrimination, insurance issues, or lack of knowledgeable providers add layers of frustration and anxiety. Hormone therapy, for example, brings physical changes that can be both exhilarating and overwhelming. Mood swings, fatigue, or discomfort may occur, impacting mental health and day-to-day functioning. Surgical procedures, while often life-changing in positive ways, come with risks, pain, and long healing times. This period of vulnerability can test emotional resilience and relationships. Beyond the medical aspects, transition-related stress also involves managing expectations, both personal and societal. There's often a pressure to look right or pass in one's affirmed gender, which can lead to self-criticism or disappointment if the outcomes don't meet these standards. The societal fixation on appearance can make the transition feel like a performance rather than a genuine expression of self. Within relationships, these stressors can create tension. Partners may struggle to understand the physical and emotional roller coaster their loved one is experiencing. Communication can become strained if one partner feels unsupported or if the person transitioning feels misunderstood or rushed. Emotional intimacy might waver as focus shifts to medical logistics and physical recovery. However, navigating these challenges together can also strengthen bonds. Open, compassionate communication is key. Sharing fears, hopes, and daily experiences helps partners feel connected despite the unpredictability of the transition process. Encouraging each other to seek professional support, whether from therapists, support groups, or medical specialists, builds a network of care that extends beyond the couple. Financial stress is another significant factor. Medical procedures and treatments often come with high costs that may not be covered by insurance. This financial pressure can lead to difficult decisions or delays in care, adding to emotional strain. Planning and openly discussing financial realities within the relationship can alleviate misunderstandings and foster teamwork. The need for depth, feeling unseen in superficial moments. In the early days of love, it's easy to be enchanted by the lightness, the laughter, shared playlists, playful texts, cozy dates. These moments are beautiful and they matter. But for many women in lesbian relationships, there comes a point when the surface-level sweetness stops being enough. What was once thrilling can suddenly feel thin. There's an ache that grows silently inside, often hard to name but impossible to ignore. Do you really see me? This isn't about attention. It's about depth. A craving not just to be loved, but to be understood, felt known. For many queer women, especially those who've been dismissed, shamed, or misread in the past, being emotionally seen is more than a desire. It's a need. A survival-level reassurance that you're safe here. You don't have to shrink. I want all of you. But here's where the disconnect often happens. One partner may be content with light, surface-level connection, assuming everything's going great. Meanwhile, the other is slowly drowning in emotional loneliness, quietly wondering why the conversations feel shallow, why meaningful check-ins have faded, or why she feels so unknown even while lying in the same bed. This dissonance can become a breeding ground for frustration, miscommunication, or withdrawal. The partner longing for depth may start picking small fights, not because she wants conflict, but because conflict is the only space where real emotion shows up. Or she may go quiet, feeling that her full emotional self is too much, too complicated, or simply unwelcome. These moments are rarely about what they seem. A sigh at the dinner table might not be about the dishes, it might be about the lack of soul-level connection. A tear during a silly movie might not be about the film, it might be about finally feeling something after days of emotional flatness. Lesbian relationships often have the potential for extraordinary emotional intimacy, but that intimacy must be nurtured, not assumed. It takes conscious effort to go beneath daily routines and surface affection to ask the deeper questions. How's your heart been lately? Is there anything you've been holding in? What's something you haven't told me because you're afraid it might change things? These questions might feel scary, but they open doors. They say, I want more than your presence. I want your truth. To love someone deeply, you must meet them deeply. And to do that, you have to slow down, make space, and get comfortable with the emotional complexity that comes with intimacy. Not every conversation has to be heavy, but depth should be a regular part of the emotional diet, like water to a plant. Because for many women in queer relationships, being emotionally unseen isn't just disappointing, it's devastating. It echoes all the times they were overlooked, misunderstood, or told they were too much. Navigating the intricate world of transgender relationships is a journey filled with both profound love and unique challenges. The 5 hidden triggers explored in this guide, internalized transphobia, identity validation, safety fears, societal rejection, and emotional invisibility, are not obstacles to avoid, but opportunities for deeper understanding and connection. By bringing these triggers out of the shadows, couples can dismantle patterns that cause pain and build new ways of relating that honor both partners' experiences and identities. Awareness breeds compassion, and compassion fosters the emotional safety necessary for true intimacy. Remember, no relationship is immune to triggers, but in transgender relationships, these hidden emotional undercurrents are often intensified by external pressures and personal histories. The work of recognizing and addressing them is ongoing, but deeply rewarding. The most powerful tool you have as a couple is your ability to communicate openly and empathetically. Creating a relationship culture where feelings are validated, fears are voiced without judgment, and differences are embraced creates a foundation sturdy enough to withstand the storms. In 2025, transgender relationships are blossoming in visibility and acceptance, but the real growth happens in the quiet moments of connection, when partners meet each other's vulnerabilities with tenderness, when they choose curiosity over assumption, and when they prioritize each other's emotional well-being alongside their own. So, whether you're just starting your journey or have been together for years, keep these hidden triggers in mind. Let them serve as signposts guiding you toward a love that is not only resilient, but transformative. Above all, know this: your relationship is valid, your love is powerful, and your story deserves to be told with honesty and grace. By understanding and embracing the complexities within your connection, you are not only surviving, you are building a future where love is free, fierce, and deeply fulfilling.